Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people hate reading. This month's theme is movies we think should be 5 out of 5, so I pick the movie Eastern Promises with Viggo Mortensen, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have The Gruesome Twosome. The old guy got back from vacation and Ryan's missing somewhere.
He's in Vegas. Pick him up.
So I picked the movie Eastern Promises, and according to IMDb, here's the description. A Russian teenager living in London who dies during childbirth leaves clues to a midwife in her journal that could tie her child to a rape involving a violent Russian mob family. Do you want to read that so people actually...
Yeah, I probably should, huh?
You might want to, since I butchered that one.
A Russian teenager living in London who dies during childbirth leaves clues to a midwife in her journal. Midwife? Really?
Yeah,
midwife? Doctor. She was a doctor.
I think she was a midwife.
She was a doctor. In her journal that could tie her child to a rape involving a violent Russian mob family.
Way to describe the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, it's like they skipped over half the crap, you know? Oops, did I say it out loud?
Maybe a little. Yeah, it's okay.
You know, this movie, I didn't get to see it in theater when it first came out.
I wish I did.
I wish I did too, but the version I watched did not have Russian subtitles for it.
Yeah,
now, is that how they presented it in theater? Do you know?
No, the version I don't know. The version I watched, I had was subtitled.
Yeah, I know there was a subtitle and a non-subtitle. Then I, for some reason, ended up having the non-subtitle. Then I was already, 30 minutes in the movie before I realized it. Didn't want to restart. So that's how I watched it, and it drove my wife nuts. She gave up on it. But
I'll have to rent it for you.
I gotta say the Viggo did a great job. He really did. And I know that you were joking after the movie came out. You were telling me that he had problems going to restaurants because of the tattoos.
Yeah, it was. I actually have notes on that. I found a couple of articles talking about actually what each one meant. Apparently, each one had a meaning.
They do.
And they was talking about went into like a pub or something, and there were like a Russian couple talking, and they finally got like a closer look at him or something, and they were kind of nervous.
Yeah. Well, the ones on his back, the actual
there was the towers.
The towers. Each one of those towers is a year.
Yeah.
Is a year. Each one of those represents a year, and that can or cannot. It's kind of. It represents, as you said, jail term, but each one of the towers represents a year that he spent in one of the Russian prisons. And then, as they say in the movie, the stars. Mm-hmm. The stars mean you do not kneel for any man.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a couple other tattoos. I'm trying to remember. He has some on his fingers. I didn't get a close look at the ones on his fingers.
My favorite one, and I didn't catch this, so I actually had to do some research on it. And it was... I don't have it written down, but what it was basically, on one foot it said, "Where are you going?" On the other foot it said, "Why the fuck do you care?"
Really?
Yeah, and it was like, and Viggo Mortensen said, "I thought that was funny that one foot doesn't care, doesn't know what the other foot was doing," which seems in this movie kind of a great explanation for kind of what happens through the movie. One of the reasons I love this movie is because I think London and where they shot it was perfect, because the feel of the movie, from the color palette, you can take a drink now, to everything else, just fit this story perfectly. I mean, it really framed it well.
Yeah.
The thing that I found really hilarious is there was one person in this entire movie who was the voice of reason. That was Viggo Mortensen character, who was he was either a cop or a double agent, which to me made it even funnier.
I think he was a double agent. I think he had actually worked for the KGB for real. Mm-hmm. And that's why when the old man was saying that he was KGB, I work for the KGB, he said that he was an old man and he knew how it went. You either relocate or you die.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think that's what that's why he approached him that way and said, this is how it's going to be. And yeah, Viggo was the voice of reason throughout the film. Although at the beginning he's playing the kind of hardcore, dirty character, and the tough guy, and he did a good job at that, I think.
Well, that was the part, the thing I thought about his characters. There's like the 2 or 3 versions of the character. You had the driver that basically would do whatever anybody tells you. He had the guy who was trying to protect Anna, Naomi Watts' character, from doing something stupid and getting herself shot or murdered or whatever. Actually murdered instead of shot. To the other one that was just that was really gentle, even more gentle to the woman of ill repute in the brothel.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that the kind of aspects of the character.
Yeah, and I was trying to look up Yosef Atlin,
Mm-hmm.
or Altin,
Mm-hmm.
who played Ikrim, the son, I believe. And I was trying to make sure that that's who that was, and I'm locking up. But I think that's who played the son. And I think his role was done really well, because if you've met some people from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
there's always one of those guys that is like that.
What do you mean?
In even movies, they play that character.
Mm-hmm.
The young Ukrainian guy in Everything Is Illuminated. He kind of had that same kind of goofy, yeah, I'm a hardcore guy, yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know, like
yeah, yeah.
American.
You're right, yeah.
It's kind of that goofy, wanting to be somebody else that they're not in one of these characters. And I think he played a good job. Actually, I think I was wrong. I think it's Kirill.
Yeah, that's him. That's the
Kirill,
son.
the Vincent Kessel. That's why I was trying to open it up. I want to make sure that I was getting it right.
I do.
Oh, okay. I know who Ikram was. He was the guy that cut the guy's throat in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
that's right. Okay.
The thing I thought was interesting was how this movie was started was basically on the context of this girl dying during childbirth and everything unraveling, as is later on in the movie you find out how, you know, I think it was
The diary.
Viggo Mortensen character saying he's made too many mistakes. He's not thinking. I don't exactly remember the wordage, but basically it meant that it's us now. It's me.
Okay.
And you get the subtle feel that Viggo Mortensen's character and the guy's son are saying, you know, he's fucked up too much.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Or you're saying that you don't tell me it's enough.
Yeah.
That scene. Okay.
Which I thought was a great character, which I thought was pretty good, because it was, you know, Viggo Mortensen trying to go further into it, and trying to acknowledge the fact that the old guy has gone too far, you know.
Yeah, I liked Armin Mueller-Stahl. He's the guy who played the dad. He
Yeah.
did a good job in that role. He did a good job. And I don't know. I think this is one of those films that if you don't see the twist coming, you're not paying enough attention, honestly.
You mean far as Viggo's character?
No, not so much Viggo's, but Viggo, yeah, I knew who he was right off the get-go. And I mean, the first time I saw the movie, I realized what was going on, too.
Because I always thought that with Viggo's character, not to interrupt, because he was too nice to Naomi Watts. It's because he was ordered a few times to stay away, don't bother, and he kept going back, and you realized, okay, this guy's not who he thinks, who he presents himself as, because of his interaction with non-mob people. And how he really cared, how he narked on his father's private stable, trying to get that girl out of there.
Yeah. But I was gonna say the one that I was like, how do you guys not even see that, was when the dad, Semyon, Armin Mueller-Stahl's character, where he's playing the nice Russian right off the bat to the girl, and he's like, and he's hinting and he's telling her, you know, you tried this borscht, you come over, what day do you want to come over? And he's telling her what day she's going to come over. I'm like, if you don't see that's a trap, really, come on.
No, I agree. That was.
It's not only that he's being too nice; he's telling you what's going to happen.
Oh no, totally. No, no, you're right, because the thing that really, now that I think about it, clued me on it is just his comments like, no, I never knew her, but let's read it anyways. It was kind of the introduction there of I know who she is, but let's see what you know.
Yeah, let's see how you know it and what you're going to do about it, and then I'll push. And the fact that he kept on wanting the information brought to him.
Yeah. And how pissed he was that he didn't get the legit copy, the only copy.
Yeah. Yeah. There were some things that I was like, okay, this just gives that away before the audience even knows, you know. And then they're trying to say that it was a rape, and then she was thinking it was the son, and then she finds out that it was actually the dad as she's reading the diary. And yeah, it's like, okay, you know, I kind of already knew all this. So some of the twists and turns were telegraphed, is what I would say.
Well, yeah, no, I agree, but I think unlike, say, like M. Night Shyamalan, that He Who Must Not Be Named, if you're keeping track.
Shyamalali damn ding dong.
It's not, it's like, oh, okay, and move on. It's not one of these, like, oh, dear God, you know.
Yeah.
It was very forgivable, and I think for me, I was so engrossed in the story that it's like, yeah, okay, that's obvious, but hey, that's neat, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to say one thing is, the one thing about a notice of this movie that I really liked like being in the tone of the movie is how much despair. Everybody in this movie had some sort of problem.
Yeah.
Naomi Watts' character broke up with either her husband or her boyfriend, and she had a miscarriage. To her mother, to her uncle, and there was nobody in this movie that wasn't touched with very big personal issues.
Yeah, that was a. They did not hold back on the sob story, to be simple.
No, not at all. Even Viggo Mortensen's character had to have some backstory, but the way he presented it, you could tell there was something because he was nicer to people, like he was very nice to women, and it would seem in a profession that was be very against the way he did, what he did.
Yeah, but one thing I want to say is I really wonder if the son was gay.
That's what I was thinking. I think he probably was.
Because the way that he was forcing that, hey, you cannot be a fag, you know.
Exactly.
Whatever, I don't remember what he called it. Was it homosexual or fag or something?
I think queer.
No,
yeah, something like that.
I think it was a derogatory term.
They said a couple of, a couple of times.
A homosexual person. Anyway, so I thought that was a little bit, they didn't really go into that, but I think he really was kind of gay.
No, I actually bet you're right, but I loved how they kind of, the way they kind of formed that was just kind of to hint at it.
Yeah.
Especially the reason that, because he killed his best friend.
Yeah.
Which I was always wondering, is there more to that?
Yeah, I think there was more to that, because, yeah. And now, they did a pretty brutal job of cutting that dude off. They just came in and just sawed his throat.
And I think
razor.
I think the body count in this movie totals like 5 or 6 people.
Really? That's it?
Yeah.
Well, there was no big shooting scene, so...
no.
Yeah.
And... Oh, excuse me. The other thing, as we mentioned earlier, the opening of this movie sets the tone.
Yeah, it does.
And not in, I guess, the most typical way would be... I think in some movies it's either a very violent act or very action or something. This was it set the despair. You had a young Ukrainian... Was it Ukrainian? A Russian girl...
I don't remember where she was from.
You had this young girl who didn't speak, the language of the realm, going to some place, start having issues, and then, right there, just the tone of that, really, to me, was amazing. Because it all went uphill from there, depending on how you look at it.
It actually did go uphill from there. But, where was I going to go with that? The sauna scene, or the sweatshop, or whatever you want to call that.
Uncomfortableville.
Now, besides the fact that you got, Viggo's thingy flopping all over the floor, if I would say that was a very realistic fight scene.
Oh, yeah.
For a movie.
No, I agree.
Seriously, a movie, it
didn't have the 80s thing.
Yeah, and it didn't also have him, whipping his towel and nunchucking the dude down with his towel, type thing.
The Jet Li stuff, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do any of that. It was very, I don't want to say, gritty. Gritty would be a good word to put that down as. And
I don't know if I would go as gritty. I think gritty is a tone, but to me it would seem more like a fight that was like if you were there, that's what happened, because it was very the way they did it. It was very we're both badasses and we're both going to the cut, but
Yeah, and I thought it was fairly well done for a fight scene.
No, I agree.
I thought that was even though the fact that you have Viggo's thing flopping all over the floor, which makes it kind of awkward. You're kind of wanting to watch, and then you're just kind of dude. Couldn't you wear some tighty whities or some Speedo or something that would keep that thing secure?
That flesh-colored underwear they give you in movies.
But that's something I gotta say. Is, I would not go into one of those rooms with just a towel. No. I'm not that dude. That might be what they're supposed to do. I don't care.
Right?
I don't give a crap. I'm gonna wear something that keeps my stuff secure. Not that. Anyways.
Excuse me.
Anyways, to get off that subject, that fight scene I thought it was a really well done fight scene, despite having a new dude fighting.
The one thing is I tried to say earlier is the reason why I think Viggo Mortensen's character and even his son knew, I think, that the reason why his dad was going down was because his dad did something that he said earlier in the movie. It's you never kill was it, I don't remember the name or how you pronounce it, but you never kill one of us.
Oh, yeah.
With, you know, and it seemed like you never kill one of us without permission or without something.
Exactly, without coming to me first, and that's why
Yeah.
he had Vigo pulled off to the side and talked to.
Exactly.
Is because he was making it clear that I'm the one in charge, not the boy.
And it seems like his dad wasn't as in charge as much as the other people during the interview scene, which we'll get to in a bit. And that's excuse me. I loved that the part when. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. It was during you really saw that guy go downhill when he didn't want to save his son. He wanted to save his son's life, so he handed in Viggo Mortensen because I thought he was either betraying Viggo Mortensen or knew, unlike his son, Viggo's character would be able to handle business.
Yeah, I wondered about that one too.
Because earlier in the movie, during that when the old guy was really talking to Viggo's character, you heard he said, well, he has brothers, and Viggo's character's like, don't worry about the characters. Don't worry about their brothers. We've got this. But I do think he was betrayed because the way you see it, he said, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get something. Then he left, gets changed.
And gets dressed. And tells him, hey, he's in there.
Yeah. Which I think that's another reason why Viggo's character saw a great in far as taking over the organization.
I don't think Viggo was going to take over the organization.
Well, it sounded like to me it seemed like he was either going to take over it
or dismantle it.
I see. That's the thing I think is interesting, is it sounded like that, but he also said talking to the guy's son was, this is our time. You're either with me or against me. So that's what I was kind of
I think he was playing that. I don't think he was serious about it, and that's where you got to kind of take in some license when he's talking to the agent, his handler or whatever you want to call them.
I think there's probably a handler. No, I think you're right, but I think it'd be cool character-wise. I don't think it fits the way the character they presented, that he kind of betrays the cops.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
But the way the character's not, the character's too seems like a guy who's trying to get out of it or made too many mistakes, and he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, to get to the interview scene, that right there is my favorite scene, because you have these 3 or 4 old guys around a guy who's in his underwear.
About 5.
Or 5 guys, talking about the tattoos and really trying to describe the character, which, by the way, I think you actually know the character, you know this movie, within the first couple of minutes, you have all the backstory, the way they present it, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, you can tell everything by his tattoos.
Yeah. I love the kind of a sidebar, but I really love the fact everything in this movie doesn't really need any backstory because of the way they present everything. They automatically give you, because, a lot of it archetypal characters, very stereotypical in some ways, even very Viggo Mortensen's in some ways, I think. But the interview scene, I loved the interview scene when he talked about, oh, my father worked for, the government, and he was a bitch. They called me the stump because they couldn't move me. I just, that whole scene was really cool because you really got to dive back into his history. They even explained some of the tattoos, saying that, there's nothing that you can do. I'm living this life. I just loved that.
Yeah, they were just checking to make sure that he was who he says he is.
Yeah.
Or who his tattoos say he is.
And the tattoos, I didn't pull it up. I found a site.
Yeah, I tried looking them up, and I didn't
go.
see them.
There's a couple of sites. There's a LiveJournal site and a couple of YouTube videos that really go down into what the tattoos mean.
Yeah, and there's also what shows that Russia's toughest prison.
Yeah.
Toughest prisons talk about some of the tattoos and what they mean.
And a lot of these apparently are based or stylized on actual tattoos
from the Gulag and from Black Dolphin and what was the other prison? The other big prison. I can't remember the other name of the big prison out there, but yeah.
But so it was pretty amazing because they used actual tattoos. The tattoos had actual meanings. According to everything I found, some of the things can vary. I've heard like the stars he had on his heart and his knees seem to mean a few different things.
Shoulders.
Oh yeah, shoulders and the knee.
Yeah.
They mean a few different things. But everything I thought was really neat. Like the Reaper apparently meant something. So everything on him had a meaning and was associated to something, and some of it seemed like it had to be earned, especially like the tattoo on his chest where it meant you're a thief in good standing, to the crosses on your back.
Mm-hmm. The steeples they actually said, one of the guys was saying in Russia's toughest prison in Siberia, I think it was Siberia, he was saying that they don't so much mean as much as they did back in the day.
I will totally
because
believe
people
that.
are starting just to get them because they think they're cool and think that they make them cool, and I don't think I would want to get a tattoo that I didn't deserve in prison.
No, I was actually doing some research about the tattoos, and one of the guys was talking about, says, back in the day, if you had a tattoo and you didn't earn it, they would cut it off of you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like
They
fillet
cut
it.
it off you or burn it off of you, or I think the Hell's Angels like to burn it.
Right? Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So the most amazing thing about this is, as I was reading about it, and Vigo apparently spent some time by himself in Russia, and I guess he talked to some of the guys who lived the life, and I have always had total respect for Vigo, because he seems he kind of goes overboard. When he was played Aragorn, or however you say it, he always carried a sword with him. Always had his gear on him. So when he was tired in the scene, he was really tired. So I really like the way he goes into it. And this movie came out after he did the movie History of Violence, which is another movie we'll probably do.
Yeah, at some point.
So what do you actually give this movie? Because
I don't think this one had the wow factor for me.
Damn.
There was a lot of stuff that were good in the movie. Like I said, is the acting. Viggo Mortensen did an amazing job, but it just did not wow me as much as I would have liked it to have. So it's a 4. It's a strong 4, but it's not like there's not the wow to me.
I get that. For me, it's a couple of things. I mean, for me, it's one. It's like, I'll definitely agree. It didn't have the wow, the pizzazz. But the other part of me for it was like it was reading something, and it was the way they presented it. Everything was a gritty. It wasn't like hyper realistic, but everything had a dark tone to it.
Okay.
So maybe there was a wow, but it was a couple of things because watching a lot of special over the years about Russian tattoos and how realistic they did, which is not something you get in a lot of movies these days. Even though this movie was made in 2007. So for me, it's a solid 5 out of 5. I really enjoy this movie, and one that I will be purchasing as soon as I find a Blu-ray copy of it.
Well, that's the point of what we're doing, is that it's the host.
Yep.
It's the host that has to have a 5 out of 5.
Yep. So which means Ryan's copy is going to be very interesting.
We'll see what he does.
Gonna need a drum roll to start that show. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that we do have a Facebook page. Please tell us if you hate us. Do you think I suck for picking Wing Commander? I dare you. Or say Ryan for picking Buffalo 66 or Super. Check out those episodes. I dare you. Also want to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that on the Old Guy Tech TV website, there is a donate button. Please donate to us so, you can continue to watch amazing shows like Real Flix Reviews. And according to the Wing Commander forum, have a bunch of snarky dudes talking about movies.
That's fine.
Kind of our shtick, actually.
Yeah.
So I got some movie
Thank you for
news.
the compliment.
Right. So in the movie news, there's a couple of interesting ones, and I don't know how I feel about it. I love and hate this one. Is saying Karate Kid 2 loses its director, and this is the one with
Who was the director? Jackie Chan?
I don't know. I didn't.
It'd be better if Jackie Chan directed it.
It's a Breck Eisenhower, a guy I've never actually heard of, and this is the one with Jaden Smith. I'm honestly kind of over this kid. Personally, I mean, I actually liked his Karate Kid, so I'd love to actually see a second one.
Breckenmeyer?
Yeah, Brecken says Deadline reports Brecken Eisner has left Karate Kid 2 over scheduling conflicts. So I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I liked the first new Karate Kid. I actually thought they did a pretty decent homage to the original, even though I was hoping for more, say, Ralph Macchio than Jackie Chan. But what do you think?
I thought the first one did a good homage to the old one. I don't think that it necessarily needs a new director. I don't think they even need a new movie. Honestly.
No.
I think Jackie Chan should take over, honestly. I like Jackie Chan movies. I am a big fan of Jackie Chan movies. So, are you sure it's Breck Eisner?
That's according to this. So let me go back to the article.
Like, this guy is spelled like that?
Yeah.
Dude, the guy has done The Crazies, Fear Itself, Sahara, Tough Crimes, Taken, The Invisible Man. Reckon he doesn't do a movie that should be considered to be The Karate Kid. I mean, The Karate Kid was kind of like action comedy,
Oh, no, totally.
There's no action comedy on this guy's resume.
I won't disagree. I disagree with that. I don't know. I mean, more it's the fact that I kind of think Jaden Smith, his especially after the disaster, which was after Earth for multiple reasons. One of these days we'll do a show just to pick that movie apart. The very weird high English being one of my major annoyances in that movie. I just don't think. Don't think it'll succeed.
Okay, I don't think it's going to succeed either. I think they need to replace it with Jackie Chan as directing it. Jackie Chan has got a great resume of movies that he's directed and started.
The question is, does the feel of the movie and the way it's directed the first one, can he match that in the second one? Because he's always had, his last films have already been very goofy, never have the semi-serious comedy.
What was the one he did with Jet Li? The Kingdom?
Yeah.
Was it The Kingdom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Forbidden Kingdom, I think. Or
Forbidden
something like
Kingdom. Yeah.
I mean, that's still
that one didn't have as many goofy undertones as most of his movies, like City Hunter. Go look that one up, people.
Please.
Jackie Chan's City Hunter. I've got a long list of Jackie Chan crazy movies that you should watch.
Or my favorites, which we've actually done on the show.
We did Snake and Eagle Chef?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I remember that now. Yeah. And then also off topic of Jackie Chan, go look up Master of the Flying Guillotine.
Great.
We'll do that one at some point.
I know. Here, I got another one, and I don't know whether to weep, cry, or go, God, why?
Just don't load your guns.
Fantastic
You'll use it
Four
on yourself. Fantastic Four
will have a found footage feel.
Really?
You see, I love the Fantastic Four, that the movie's not the live action movie, not so much versus the cartoons.
People out there, Blair Witch Project sucked. Okay, the whole thing that came after it, around it, surrounding it, sucked.
Well, we did. Now, here's the question: we did a movie
found footage sucks.
We did a movie early on in the Real Flix reviews called Troll Hunter, which is one of my personal favorite movies.
That one was okay, actually.
What if that had that feel? I mean, not so much.
It's not quite all found footage, but supplementing found footage.
Yeah, because Troll Hunter was basically all through the lens of a camera, but it wasn't like Blair Witch where it was like ridiculous.
What's the ones that they came out with recently? Like they have 6 of them now, or something. The scary film ones. What are they?
I don't know what you're talking
I'll have to pull it up later. Anyway.
But I mean, if they do it that way, maybe I don't know. The only way I could see it really pulling it off if it's doing it through the eyes of like a news reporter type of thing. And even then, I'm tired of that.
That would be boring.
I don't know how to. The only problem, honestly, I think with that is since we know the Fantastic Four, I think it would be really hard to pull off in found footage.
Okay.
I think it'd be nearly impossible. Even under news reports, because that would be like doing Spider-Man under through the camera of James Jonah Jameson. It would just be lame.
Yeah, it would.
Because nobody wants to watch James Jonah Jameson. Well, actually, I kind of would talk crap about Spider-Man, and then boom, Spider-Man saves it. I don't know. And it's a Fantastic Four, which I may like, but isn't exactly the most exciting duo.
No, I was not a big Fantastic Four fan. I mean, I'm happy with what they do on Spider-Man. I haven't seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 yet. I've been saving it.
No, I have done 2. The other thing I've heard about that, and I don't know if it's true, I haven't dug too much deep into that, is they're changing Johnny Storm into a black guy. That's what I've read. I don't actually have a big problem with that. I mean, do you think audiences will have an issue with having a non-white Johnny Storm? If they do that? Because I heard they did. Can't tell you.
Replacing Johnny Storm?
The character. Because the last one was the guy, the last... Chris Evans, the guy who played...
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he did a good job.
They're replacing he's not going to do it because it's a completely new cast. No.
It's a complete new cast?
Brand new cast. It's a complete reboot.
Okay, I didn't really like Alba's, the Invisible
One. No.
Yeah,
I like the guy who played Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
And Michael.
Well, I like him. Michael Chiklis.
Yeah. He played the Thing. So what do you think?
Paranormal Activity. Thank you. I finally figured it out. Paranormal Activity.
Yes. No, nothing like that.
That wasn't really. I guess it was found by the cops footage, but it wasn't necessarily fell into that genre of what I consider because that's a stationary cam.
Yeah. That's the reason why I think it'd have to be like Troll Hunter.
Yeah.
I think that would be a better way to do it.
Or what was that? Dead Snow.
Oh yes, great movie.
So I actually had a little bit of movie news. The Revenant. I don't know if you've heard it's coming out 2015, centers on the 1820 story of frontiersman Hugh Glass, who set out on a path of vengeance against those who left him for dead after a bear mauling. It's got Leo.
Sorry to change schedule. Real quick, this is the new Johnny Storm.
Michael Jordan?
He's
not tall enough.
Michael B. Jordan.
He's not tall enough to be Jordan.
Well, I just thought it was interesting because oddly enough, recasting characters and stuff sometimes really bugs me, but because I've heard some people really bitching about it's a black guy. I actually don't care on this one.
I don't really care if it's a black guy or not. I just think that the guy who played Storm was a good pick last time. I think they did a good pick because he was arrogant, but he was smart.
I think he was,
and that's really who he was. That's the character. That's how I always found the character to be.
I actually think he played it too goofy.
I think the goofy kind of went for him, but I think as the character progresses, he becomes less goofy. But I get what you're saying. Anyways, so I was pulling out the Revenant because it's got Leonardo DiCaprio, and Tom Hardy's joining the cast, and I actually like Tom Hardy. I think he's a good actor. What was the film that we just recently did with him? Or he was the Gangster Guys? Or I saw it. I don't think we did it for Real Flix, but
because we have done movies that he's been.
We did the Fighter.
What's it called?
Warrior or something. Yeah, the Revenant.
The Revenant. Who's in the cast?
Leo, Tom Hardy, and Will Poulter.
So nobody else, or is it gonna?
No, that's all rumors right now. So it's scheduled for 2015. It's a reboot on a Western, though. It's
really?
Rebooting a Western feel. And I'm kind of excited for that, because I enjoyed Westerns. That's one of the few films that I actually enjoy. There's not much that needs to go into it. It's a Western. But it's, obviously a vengeance film, so that's fine with me. And I think Leo's become a good actor. I actually just recently watched the reboot of The Great Gatsby that he did.
Really?
I finally saw it. Yeah, I kind of agree with my wife on it. Why are we promoting adultery? That's really what the book and the film is about. People.
In all honesty,
it's about adultery.
It is. For those kids out there who haven't read the book yet, or
There, I just spoiled it for you. They all die.
Well, eventually we all die.
They were from 1940 something. They all dead now. Come on.
So it was interesting. I think it's interesting reading about it. So who sent out a path of vengeance against who left for him for dead. So very
thin
after
plot.
a bear mauling.
But very thin plot. But it's one of those films that it's like
this is.
I'll check it out.
This is a very traditional Western story. I mean, the bear mauling's a new one. I don't know if I've seen anything like that, but
I don't know if it's a true story or not. It sounds like it could possibly be. I don't know.
Based on a true story.
It could be, the same thing as Rooster Cogburn, and True Grit.
I have to be honest. I agree with you.
Sorry, I hit the mic 3 times. Sorry, people.
I'm
interested.
According to this, it says it's going to be a dark comedy horror film.
All right, I'm down.
Which, I'm. Oh, wait, maybe this is the wrong one. I'm sorry. Sorry, wrong one.
Are you sure that's right?
Yeah, it's 09.
Oh, okay.
Hell, I'll watch the movie. I'm not a big fan of Leo. Personally, I think his best role was when he was drowning in the end of Titanic. Sorry, ladies.
I don't know. Gacy of New York wasn't bad.
I couldn't get through it.
Well, I could see why. It's a long movie. Anyway, speaking of long movies, so on to my pick next week.
Wait, one more piece.
We're going to do... Oh, we got more news.
One more piece. Just because it got so panned here in in America, Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim will have a sequel.
What?
Mm-hmm.
For Japan?
No, it will be, apparently... here it is, yeah. There are so many gigantic blockbusters coming. Yeah, it says it's going to be a second one.
Really?
Yeah.
Same cast?
I'm assuming so. Yeah, it says it's being written with Zach Penn. The plan is to release both films in 3D and IMAX. So, yeah, it looks like it. I haven't seen a whole lot because I just kind of found a basic news of it, but I'm assuming it's going to be, Chris Hunman. Yeah, so it looks like it will be at least the two.
Okay, this is just creeping out.
Sorry, the article.
Use yours real quick.
Yeah, sure.
The
article I read just was a little goofy, but I'm kind of excited about it.
I
I don't remember exactly what I gave.
Can you pull up IMDb?
I don't exactly remember what I
I
gave.
think I might have gotten it. I
Well,
gave Pacific Rim. I think you gave it like a 3 or 2.
But I have to admit, I've watched it a few times since then, and while it's not a terrific movie, it sure is entertaining.
Yeah.
So what movie are you doing? And apparently it's going to be a long one, so you may need to refill your popcorn bowls. So what
I'm gonna
movie
think
are
I'm
you
gonna
doing?
use it again. Well, you have IMDb up. Okay, thank you. All right, so I am going to be doing Braveheart.
We need Ryan to fill time.
So that's the movie we're going to be doing. This is one that I believe deserves a 5 out of 5. So
The movie that launched 1,000 bad impression of men yelling freedom.
there was a lot of people that did that. But on top of that, what we're going to be doing is we're also going to be watching the first episode, and that's what I was trying to pull up, is actually the name of the first. Thank you. There we go. I think it's Curhi. Yes, we're watching Curhi, the episode Curhi, A Band of Brothers. So we're going to be watching that along with Braveheart. So settle down and be ready for about 5 hours of film. Especially if you watch the Band of Brothers extended edition, which there does not exist, so don't be stupid. Anyways.
Wait, what? We're gonna have after this is over. You're gonna have to explain to me what exactly.
I'm just kidding, because there's everybody that says there's like extended editions of everything. So, anyways,
so
you can do the
my suggestion is, you hit after 30 minutes or an hour, hit play, come back,
Band of Brothers.
No, I was talking.
Are you talking about Braveheart?
Braveheart, hit pause at the hour mark, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, hit play. You'll be doing
it's
that at
only
least
2
twice.
hours and 57 minutes. I don't think there's an extended director's cut limited release crap for Braveheart. Was
Why
there?
not? I think they could probably make it 5 hours.
I don't think there was. I think he did have some clips at the end that you could watch that, at the end of the DVD that he released. And did you know that this film was actually released originally on VHS, people out there?
I have to admit.
There was 2 boxes.
I have to admit, I would actually watch an extended version of Braveheart.
I probably would too, so.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave the movie Eastern Promises a 5 out of 5, which it so lovingly deserves. He gave it a 4 to 5. And when the old guy gets back from vacation and when we find Ryan,
I think old guy's gonna give it one of these.
I'm thinking Ryan's gone Lost Highway style.
I don't know. He's probably doing some Fear and Loathing out in Las Vegas. So go ahead and look him up.
Tell him we sent you. So, ladies and gentlemen, next week we're doing Braveheart, and the new part of the old guy Real Flix reviews is we're doing the first episode of Band of Brothers.
Curry.
Watching a Blu-ray is the best way, personal opinion. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you.